Hi everyone, welcome to Legal Limelight. Today we have Julie MacDonell, who is the founder of Haloo. It's an AI-based trademark software that is an absolute disruptor right now, crushing the game. They're really one of the top trademark search databases right now, and I'm really excited to speak with Julie today. And there she is. Hey Julie, good to see you. I am going to pull you up right now. Hi.
Oh, hi there.
It worked.
It did work. Yeah,
How are you?
good. Good.
Really good to see you. I'm glad we figured this out.
Yeah.
Where are you in Canada?
In Toronto, so not affected by fires, thankfully, but we're all thinking of those that are.
Going through it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. I live in New Jersey and all the smoke has been coming down. We've never, like my husband lived in Colorado and he said whenever there's a forest fire, it happens where it's really hazy. But like I've never seen anything like this in my life and it was really bad yesterday. We've just been indoors with the air purifiers on for a couple days.
Yeah, we're getting a bit of it here, not too badly, but yeah.
Well, I'm glad you guys are safe, and I'm really excited to talk with you today. These are really fun and informal, and just an opportunity to, show the community who you are, what Haloo is about. And I guess my first question for you, Julie, is why did you start the company? What made you start the company?
Yeah, I think, I share so much in common with you. I think I was a really ambitious practitioner. Started my own boutique firm and had scaled that hugely. So I had roughly 3 people working for me, and we had scaled it in volume to compete with the two firms in Canada, at least in terms of prosecution work, and had felt frustrated or just let down by the software that was available to me at the time to continue to scale my practice. Had seen some AI tools come out that really didn't perform, and that I actually had a couple of risky sort of situations with clients with, and just said, you know what, I want to build the thing that I want to use in my own practice. So I'm very lucky to be able to do that, and we've got a really fantastic solution today and are about to launch the next version of the solution in about 6 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks. And my favorite thing to do is to spend a lot of time with people like you to understand where your pain points are, and what features we can build for you, how we can do it better than anybody else in market to serve exactly your needs.
And it's the reason why we connected, right, was because of this and how I burned out when I was practicing in big law, and I think back to like what could I have done different? What could I have done to help my mental health? And I think that a lot of it is with some of the stuff that could be automated, animated, just to free up time, right? Like if we could take a lot of things off of our plate through software or AI, and just really focus on giving legal advice, counseling clients, the stuff that we went to law school to do, I think that's going to change the industry really for the better, and especially when it comes to lifestyle for lawyers. So when we were talking, I haven't built my own platform, and it's amazing. Like I think so many visionaries like yourself, Julie, have seen, they're really diving into legal tech, thank God, because you know, I can have an idea for something, but to sit and commit, it's a full-time business. So for you, at what point did you say like, okay, this is something big, I'm going to not practice law anymore, I'm going to go all in on building the platform?
Yeah, I mean, it happened really, really organically. It's hard, as you can imagine, to build a practice to the scale that I had, and then to just kind of let it slowly go away. So that was tough, but at the same time, I've just always been in a focus. So it's always been more exciting to me in a way to build the future than to hang on to the past. And so very organically, I had explored the idea of building AI technology. This is way before the hype. So we
Yeah.
huge hype around legal tech. Legal tech was the least cool technology on the planet when we started building. Everything was getting more attention, more funding, more excitement. Lawyers didn't want legal tech. Nobody wanted legal tech at the time we were building, and AI didn't have any excitement around it. And so, you know, for me, I saw the future. I'm glad the future is now. We're living what I had a vision for, certainly today. And so I just was driven by that excitement. Ended up getting support through a couple of accelerator programs that really believed in us, thankfully, and had reconnected with a very old friend who was a senior data engineer working at an AI startup. So she had good background to, you know, run some ideas past and say, how far can we push this? How far can we automate things? How far can we, you know, push AI to do things like the human work involved in capturing trademark conflict data and things like that? And every time I sort of put something in front of her as a challenge, she said, technology can do this.
Awesome.
And so we just jumped in together, 2 feet. I don't want to make it seem like it was a very easy journey. Where women and women are especially underrepresented in AI. Women are underrepresented in technology, but when it comes to AI, we're grossly underrepresented and face a lot of bias. So women founders are not the founders. We're getting these massive valuations and money just thrown at us. We've had to work for everything, but you know, it's been a great journey, and we've been so supported by people like you. Especially women lawyers have really just rallied behind us, and it's amazing.
No, it really is. I want to go back to something that you said, how this wasn't a popular thing, right? Like now everyone, you know, probably 90% of people, maybe that's an overassumption, but a lot of people watching this, you've probably used ChatGPT. You probably were curious, Googled it, put in some questions. If you haven't, just, you know, plug it in to Google and pull up the browser. I think it's an app now too. It's amazing. It'll really blow your mind. But like anything, there's always this period where no one's doing it, and it's very intimidating. It's very scary, and I'm sure, especially as a woman, as you said, it must have been something that was really big for you to leave a booming business to venture into this unknown journey. So, do you have any advice for people who do have an idea on how to make their practice better, or even an idea on how to start a business in legal tech? They don't have to be a lawyer.
Yeah, I think there's a balance of two things. So I'm seeing a lot of people, you know, jump way too quickly into a generative AI in particular in legal right now. And so it's probably not the advice you're expecting from me. But I think people can slow down and take a bit of care and caution about, you know, tools that are out there. ChatGPT does feel magical, but there's just a lot of hype around it and what it can actually do, and it has no competence. So it has performance, which is really exciting and feels like, you know, we've entered a new era of intelligence and things like that, but it's really just performance, and we have to kind of take a minute to reflect on that deeply and be very careful about jumping in too quickly, too deep into generative AI in particular. So my advice, oddly, is to slow down a little bit, but also to not be afraid of technology and embedding technology in practice. I think you're one of the very, you know, fairly intrepid practitioners who are really future facing, and that's awesome. And we all need to get to that place. I think our industry has been very slow to adopt technology, extremely resistant to technologies. And now all of a sudden we're seeing the opposite, that there's just not enough resistance to AI technology in the space, and it's causing some problems. And but it's not to say that we shouldn't be looking at these technologies to scale our practices or to just make life easier, better, find work-life balance, and more importantly, what you said right off the top, which is spend proper time with clients. Clients have been underserved because we had really bad technology. Like, websites are really low tech. Even the chat bots that we had on our websites and intake forms on our websites, it's super low tech. And that kind of technology created an extra administrative burden to me. It didn't help. And we've been underserving clients. So AI has the opportunity to really, really spend time, human level, one-to-one, with clients. And I think that's where people can focus if they are in practice and wanting to leverage technology to the best outcome for themselves, their lives, their practice, and their bottom line.
Julie, you cut out for me for a second. I don't know if anyone else, but you're good now.
Okay. In terms of the second part of that question, you know, jumping into a technology venture, starting a business, I think validating your idea is really important, because it's going to be harder than you imagined. And you'll have, you know, initial wind in your sails, and then that can kind of slow down. It's harder, longer than you ever expect. It's very meaningful and it's very worthwhile, but just validating some way, somehow. I'm lucky to be a domain expert in what I started. So that really helps because I could self-validate a lot of stuff, or I could validate with peers. But validating and asking for help and giving help constantly is the energy that that you start any business, technology or otherwise. It's really, you can't do it alone. You do it in community, and you do it with the incredible kind of push and energy that you get off of other people and that you give to other people. So I don't know if that's helpful advice, but that's
great advice. It's great advice. Yeah, my husband and I, we started our law firm in February. Things were just moving. They are moving really fast, and it is something you have to wholeheartedly believe in, like undoubtedly. And I did a LinkedIn post about this the other day, like the paradox of, you know, wholeheartedly trusting yourself, but then, you know, venturing into the complete unknown. Like, you have to have this confidence, but you have really, you don't know what the next like year is going to look like, but you have to believe that it's going to be something great and that the path kind of presents itself. So it's it is a wild ride, but I love what you said. It's rewarding and it's meaningful. And I love what you're doing. You're making my life easier. You're making the life of a lot of people probably watching this video a lot easier. So keep going.
Yeah, I mean, that's the goal. I think the next version of the software is going to make it a whole lot easier. And, you know, I think probably an interesting quick topic for people is just separating the concept of generative AI, which is what we see with ChatGPT, and what I sort of bucket as kind of practical AI or specific AI, which is what we do. So generative AI doesn't do a lot of things, and it doesn't do anything with competence. It's good for helping to write emails and things like that. It's amazing. I love it. But when it comes to, you know, intellectual property practice, it performs very, very poorly. And so we don't use generative AI in the ChatGPT or large model sense. We are seeing two big opportunities that will launch in versions in September. But what we do is very, very specific to IP practice. We want you to get maximum value, lowest risk, no risk on confidentiality and privacy and accuracy and things that are really, really important, so that you can just kind of, you know, use it to make your day-to-day easier without worrying that you're going to deal with big issues like what we saw with that with the court case in New York. So anyway. Yeah.
It's a tool. It's a tool. It's coming. It's still early. So that was a great distinction. And for people who are watching this who maybe they are interested in trademarks, or maybe they're trademark practitioner, IP practitioners, who do you serve? And
Yep.
how can they, you know, do you have a tutorial for Haloo? How can they test the platform or buy the platform?
Yeah, for sure. They should get in touch in the next couple of weeks, because we're running, you know, big push to our next release. So there'll be a lot of added value for people getting in touch soon before that release. But essentially what we do is we serve lawyers and law firms. As you know, we serve naming agencies and naming consultants. So people who do high volume trademark vetting for clients who are naming a new brand or a product. And we also serve large enterprise internal legal and marketing teams. So even the teams that are ideating, so on the creative side or on the marketing side, can coexist in the same platform as their legal team. So there's a lot of team collaboration built in. The solution is meant to train as you go. So there's a lot of fear around legal AI that we're going to lose our competence, our professional competence, and we're building it in the inverse, where it's actually training professional competence as you go. So it can be used by juniors, it can be used by non-legal staff, it can be used by namers, and it can be used by top experts in IP. So the attorneys that you know are deeply knowledgeable get as much value.
And to give you a specific example of that, as you're going through the portal, there's a search database where if you type in, you know, clothing, clothing's too broad for the PTO in the US, so it'll pop up and prompt clothing, namely, you know, tops, bottoms, and it'll give you options that have been approved by the PTO in the ID manual, or ones that have gotten through that have previously registered but aren't listed in the manual. It's great, and especially as we work with so many interns and juniors, it's really helpful. It's a great tool.
Yeah, great to notice that. We want it to be as easy and magical as ChatGPT has shown for certain use cases, right? Like, if the only thing you can really verbalize is that you're like Starbucks, the goal is you can just type in Starbucks and you've got a pre-populated guaranteed
Amazing.
completion. If you do that in ChatGPT, there's a high risk, over 20% risk of an error in the application. So this is what I mean by the difference between generative AI and very specific AI. That's one thing. You'll see in the next release a lot of stuff built in to train on niche classes and when to use them, and more importantly, when they don't apply to a client and you need to look at a different niche class instead. So there's a lot of stuff built in around that. And then new stuff around, trademark conflict sorting, and bucketing and things for best practice. So we're doing a lot of cool stuff. I'm glad you're starting to notice, and I can't wait for you to be in the next version, because it's really, really exciting.
Awesome. Yeah, we're excited. Anything, from like my perspective, we're able to compete because, we're definitely not the cheapest, but we're not the most expensive, and we can run a very lean team and cut costs for client on some of these legal bills, but deliver top tier, gold standard service, because we're using tools and can charge them less for it. So it's great, and we're really happy, and I'm excited to try the next version of it.
Yeah. So we can, maybe drop a link or some information on how to get a free demo, and
that'd be great.
Trial. We always give a free trial for as long as you need, and so to do that, and it would be Marin, who who would be kind of helping to coordinate that. But yeah.
Great. Julie, thank you so much for coming on today. It was really fun, and thank you for everything. It's really amazing to see what you've built, and we're excited to watch the journey continue.
Well, likewise, I admire what you're doing with your practice. It's always what I had a vision to do with mine, and so you're kind of building my first dream, and you're doing it so well.
Oh my gosh, Thank you. It means a lot. And thank you to everyone who watched live. Thank you to everyone watching the recording. This is Legal Limelight. We're here every Thursday, 1:00 Eastern Standard Time on Instagram, and the replay gets restreamed on LinkedIn and YouTube. Thank you, and have a great day, everyone.
Okay.
Bye, Julie.
Bye.